Hello there YouTube, Devin here again. Now, as the title of the video kind of gives away, we're going to be teaching you how to disassemble an Smle no1 Mark III bolt. This happens to be an Ishapore 2A1, as you can tell by the nylon sling, the solid rosewood stock, and all that other stuff, but it's got basically all parts are interchangeable with an Smle, a no1 Mark III, except for obviously the barrel. That's pretty much it. Everything else is 100% interchangeable with the no1 Mark III. This magazine will even lock into a no1 Mark III, but it won't fit 303 British rounds, and a no1 Mark III magazine will fit into this rifle. So I'm going to show you first of all how to remove the bolt. The no1 Mark III, a lot of you might not know this, especially if you're very new to shooting. How you remove a no1 Mark III bolt is there isn't a button or anything like the Mauser. You rotate the bolt head all the way back, so draw the bolt all the way to the rear, and then you rotate the head up. So there's this little spring right here that you can see. That little thing right there is a flat spring, and the bolt head clips over that and then runs on this rail that's along the side of the receiver. So once you rotate the bolt head all the way up, you can get the entire bolt free, as you can see there. So this isn't going to be a super entire disassembly, because obviously you could take the bolt head a lot further apart than what I'm going to do in this video. But how you are first of all going to start to disassemble this is you're going to want to decock it first of all. So you're going to want to pull the cocking piece back and rotate it down like that so your firing pin protrudes, as you can see there. And then you're going to want to just unscrew your bolt head. Bolt head should just, unthread relatively easily, and then I'll walk you through the process of taking apart the bolt head. I'm not going to today, but if you need to replace a piece or anything like that, I'll just talk you through it. So there's basically four parts to your bolt head here. There's the actual bolt head itself, there's the extractor claw, there's the extractor spring that's in there, that little V-spring, and then there's the screw here that holds the extractor claw in place. So what you do is you would remove the screw and you would pull out your extractor, and then that little spring, how you pull that out is you can push it out right here. This is actually the back part of the spring sticking through the back of the bolt head, so you could push that out. But while you push that out, you also have to take like a toothpick or a special tool or something and push down, because there's a little detent on the spring that holds it in place here at the top of the bolt head. So you need to push down on the spring, and then you could push it out right here, and the V-spring should just come right out. So that's how that works. Now the next thing you have to do to disassemble the Smle is, it's not like a Mauser or anything. So you need extra tools to disassemble the bolt, unfortunately. So as you can see here, there's on the back of this cocking piece, there's this little retaining screw that prevents the firing pin from rotating. You need to remove that screw, and for that you're going to need a flathead screwdriver. Tool everyone should have around the house. Should come free relatively easily. It's not a very long screw, so it does not take very much to unthread, and I'm going to set that up here on the end table so I don't lose it. Alright, and now you're going to need a second tool to remove the actual firing pin. So this is the firing pin here sticking out, and you're going to need a tool like this. It's a long hollow tube, and it's got two lugs on it. And so you got to put that around the firing pin and run that down the bolt sleeve, and just kind of rotate it to there. You see it fall in place, and then when I start to unscrew it here, alright, you should be able to see it unthread from the cocking piece there. That's ultimately what we want to do. We want to, I'm going to try to keep my right hand still so you can watch the cocking piece unthread. You're going to want to just keep unthreading the cocking piece. Now this is under pressure, so the firing pin does have a spring wrapped around it, so once, there you go, it will release. And there is your firing pin, and the spring should come with it. Sometimes it doesn't. And it's that simple. There is your cocking piece, now entirely free from the bolt. This is how you can do your preventive maintenance. You can make sure there's no rust on your firing pin, make sure your firing pin's very safe. If your firing pin's too short or too long or something, this is how you would take it out to, fix it up or repair it or replace it entirely. So now you can see here the two little channels that the firing pin has in it to allow this special Enfield bolt tool to fit over it. And it's just that simple. And then the process to do everything is just in reverse. So you make sure that this is lined up. You want it in the lower channel. As you can see here, there's two channels. There's one here and there's one here. And there is this kind of lug in the center. You want it in the lowest one. All right, and then you want to just hold it in place. You want to grab your firing pin tool and you just want to start screwing it in. Pretty easy. It's not too difficult. Just make sure that you got it going in. You don't want to force anything. You don't want to do anything that feels like you're trying too hard. Everything should go pretty easy within reason. And then this way, too, the cool thing about the Enfield bolt, which I will give it, other than it needs a ton of stuff to take it apart, is it's very easy to extend your firing pin and line it up, because obviously it needs to be lined up so that this screw can fit in there to hold it in place. The cool thing is if your firing pin wears out and it gets too short, you can just unthread it one full circle and you get a little bit extra length on your firing pin, so you can use it a little bit longer before you actually need to replace it. But don't do that for more than one or two turns in the rotation, because then you're probably getting to pretty unsafe territory. But you can go one rotation pretty easily. If your firing pin's too short or your Enfield is light striking, you could do that to make your firing pin last a little longer, because it's not like they still make these firing pins. So, and then you just rotate your bolt head back on. You want to make sure it's lined up with that rib. Now, there's a lot of them with these bolt heads, and people think there's problems where they over-rotate. As you can see, this one can be over-rotated just a little bit. Okay, but as long as you want it to be just in line, so don't be concerned if it over-rotates. There's a lot of them that do that. That's totally fine. And then what you want to do is you want to make sure it's recocked. Okay, and then we'll bring our rifle back into frame here. And then you want to put that in, push it forward. All right, make sure your bolt is to the rear as far as it'll go. And then there you go. You hear the bolt head snap right over that. And then you can get your bolt to here. It is cock on close. So as you can see here, if I push forward, it'll bounce back. So what you do is you just hold down the trigger, and then you can push forward, rotate it down so you ease all the spring tension and everything. And that's one fully disassembled and reassembled Smle no1 Mark III bolt. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. These videos don't really get a lot of views or anything like that, but I'm more concerned about getting this out there for the safety of firearms owners. So there's a lot of new firearms owners out there, especially this year, which is 2020 when this video came out. I want to make sure that you all are using your firearms safely and you feel comfortable around them, taking them apart and all that other stuff, especially these old ones. There's I know a lot of gunsmiths that won't work on old firearms like this just because they're old and they're scared of them, which there really isn't any reason for that, within reason. There's obviously ones that are so rusted and corroded and so pitted that they're really unsafe to use, but if the firearm's been maintained good for a long time like this, there's really no reason why it would be unsafe for you to take apart or to handle. So just go through the trouble, make sure you're oiling everything, make sure you're taking care of it. This is all preventive maintenance and safety measures. So you need to check your firing pin. You need to check your firing pin spring for corrosion and condition and stuff like that. You need to oil all of these parts or they will rust. So in order to preserve these firearms, in order to preserve people's safety and health, I do these videos. And they may not get the most likes and they may not be the most watched videos I have, but they're a resource for those new firearm owners or people that are just unsure of how to do something. So thank you so much for watching. If you think I am worth a donation, please donate to the Patreon or to the PayPal, which is in the About tab of my channel. So if you click on my little icon, it'll bring you to my homepage, which will have, you know, like my videos, my playlists, and then the farthest right tab is About. And if you click on that About tab, there's 2 links there. One to PayPal if you feel like I deserve a one-time donation, or an especially large donation. That's the best way to get it because I get 100% of the money. Or if you want to support the channel over time and get some cool perks out of it, like access to the Discord and other stuff, you can by all means join the Patreon. And the Patreon has buy, sell, trade stuff on it. A couple pages where you can show off all your cool stuff. It's the best way to get a hold of me if you want to ask me questions or show me something. That's the best way to do it, is through the Discord. And the only way to get on the Discord is to pay at least $1 a month in Patreon. So if that's something that interests you, and also the Patreon supporters get the first access to anything I would like to sell here in the future. So thank you all for stopping by and watching this video and enjoying everything. Hopefully you like this thing. If you've never known how to disassemble an Smle bolt or the tools you would need, this hopefully should cover it pretty extensively. So thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I'll see all you guys in the next video. Bye.